What's up guys, the High Council is back, and in today's video I'm going to be discussing Palpatine's life. I hope you guys do enjoy this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and let's get straight into it. Alright guys, so Palpatine's original name was Sheev Palpatine, and he was born in 84 BBY, which is before Battle of Yavin. His homeworld is Naboo and his species is human. That is basically the first thing about him. Now let's talk about his master. First, Darth Plagueis was Palpatine's master. We do know this from the Legends comics, the Darth Plagueis comic. Personally, I really like this comic. This is probably going to be one of the main sources for Palpatine's life, as the movies don't really explain too much in detail about his life, mainly just the comics. Now guys, Palpatine was found collecting Sith artifacts, which Darth Plagueis really noticed, and essentially turned him over to the dark side, and then Palpatine ended up killing his parents, which majority of Sith Lords actually did. I find that really weird, how like majority of Sith Lords and Sith in general killed their parents. We do see this with Kylo Ren, killed his father. It's just, I feel like it's like kind of a trend, you know, the Sith Lords kill their family. Very weird, but anyway, now I'm going to go into and start talking about Palpatine's early ages. So this will probably be movies 1 to like 2, and then we can get a deeper understanding of what he did, his new apprentices, and etc. Alright guys, so as we know, Palpatine did end up getting his first ever apprentice, Darth Maul, which was a young Zabrak he found and turned him over to the dark side, essentially trained him in the ways of the dark side of the Force. And as we also know, Darth Maul did getting struck down by Obi-Wan Kenobi. This led to Palpatine having no apprentice and essentially having no one to serve, as he did kill his master. If you guys want me, I will make a video on how he killed his master, but I'm not going to talk about it now because as that story is fairly long and it'll probably take up a lot of the video. So anyway, with no apprentice found, he did went to go seek out a new apprentice, which then found him to get Count Dooku. Now Count Dooku was a turned Jedi who turned to the dark side, so when he had Count Dooku he was happy, he was impressed. And then after that, the Clone Wars did start. This is number 2. Clone Wars did start. It was the Separatists versus the clones, and then we know the two clashed and battled. Now Palpatine was on both sides of the war secretly. The Council, the Senate, no one knew. It was all to his secret, and Count Dooku did actually end up informing Obi-Wan that they're blinded, but Obi-Wan obviously did not believe him. And meanwhile, Count Dooku had the Death Star plans, the first Death Star plans, and Obi-Wan and no one else even knew.
What if I told you that the Republic was now under the control of the Dark Lord of the Sith?
No, that's not possible. The Jedi would be aware of it.
The dark side of the Force has clouded their vision, my friend.
After that, guys, Count Dooku did end up fighting Anakin and Obi-Wan. This is because Palpatine did get captured. Well, not really, it was more like a trap. But Palpatine did end up getting fakely captured so he could lure Anakin and Obi-Wan in to fight Count Dooku. Now, Obi-Wan did end up getting knocked out. People think that, Count Dooku was more powerful than Obi-Wan. Some people thought that Palpatine increased Dooku's power or decreased Obi-Wan's power. Me, personally, I just think it was Palpatine decreasing Obi-Wan's power. But anyway, then after that, Anakin did end up killing Count Dooku, which was all a part of Palpatine's plan. After Anakin beheads Count Dooku, Palpatine does start to notice his power. This is mainly because Palpatine wanted Anakin to kill Count Dooku. Count Dooku was more of like a fake. He wasn't actually trying to make Count Dooku the next Sith Lord, mainly because he was just trying to be a setup so he could get Anakin to the dark side. Now, Palpatine did obviously feel and sense through the Force that, Anakin was suffering through his mom and the dreams he was having. Now, what he tried to do, guys, was he essentially tried to lure Anakin by telling him stories of Darth Plagueis. Now, what he did with Darth Plagueis was he tried to tell Anakin that Darth Plagueis could heal people, which he could, but he tried to turn Anakin over to the dark side so then he tried to make Anakin think that he could heal people, when in reality he would not be able to do that.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Now, this story obviously did lure Anakin into the dark side even more than he already was going into it, mainly because he wanted to make sure that what was happening in his dreams to Padme wouldn't actually happen in real life. He did not want Padme to die, so he obviously wanted to learn this power that Darth Plagueis did, discover. Now, obviously, Palpatine was the Chancellor, and no one even knew that he was a Sith Lord. Now, Palpatine did try to let Anakin know that he was. We do see this with the scene saying that that he apparently knew someone that knew the dark side of the Force, that his mentor taught him all about it. But in reality, this got Anakin suspicious and essentially giving away that he was the Sith Lord.
Let me help you to know the subtleties of the Force.
How do you know the ways of the Force?
My mentor taught me everything about the Force, even the nature of the dark side.
Now, this also led to Anakin being more intrigued with the dark side, but it also led Anakin to turn Palpatine over to the Jedi Council. Now, this led to the fight, as we know, when Mace Windu, Kit Fisto, Aegon Kohler, and CZ-10 fought Palpatine. Now, obviously, this duel ended up Mace Windu dying, getting his hand chopped off by Anakin, but it also led to the rise of Darth Vader. Now, this also meant that Palpatine had a new apprentice, Darth Vader. It also meant that he was meant to execute Order 66. Order 66 was a code that Palpatine, since he was on both sides of the war, he put this code into the clone's head called Execute Order 66, and it says, when he says that to the clones are meant to turn on all the Jedi, essentially killing all of them. Now, this obviously leads into the betrayal of the Jedi, and Palpatine is happy with this. This means he can take over the galaxy with his new apprentice right beside him, Darth Vader. Now, we're going to start talking about his late life, so this is like movie 4 to 6. Now, first thing is obviously that he was still building the Death Star at this point. The fourth movie is the completion of the Death Star. Palpatine had the plans since number 2, except it took like 20 years to build. So therefore, and thus having the Death Star in the fourth movie. Now, this Death Star was precedingly blown up by Han Solo and Luke themselves, with Princess Leia and Chewbacca. But then after that, Palpatine did discover that, well, Darth Vader had a son and daughter, and, well, realized that Luke and Leia were both Force sensitive, thus having Palpatine told Darth Vader to find Luke and Leia. Failing that, Luke actually ended up turning himself over. This ended up Palpatine to, well, try and manipulate Luke to turn to the dark side. Failing that, Luke refused, and then, well, Palpatine sent a shock of lightning to him, and Luke fell to the ground. Then having that, Darth Vader killed his master Palpatine. Now, that is the end of Palpatine, unless you want to count 9, which was a clone of Palpatine. There's nothing really to talk about. Instead of what happened was, well, Palpatine told Rey that, Rey's granddaughter, that Palpatine is Rey's grandfather, and, well, essentially found there was a bind in the Force with Rey and Kylo Ren. He took their power and essentially became really powerful, and then Rey took down Palpatine. I don't really like counting number 9 as Palpatine's life, mainly because Palpatine was already dead. Mainly, Palpatine in number 9 was just a clone, and doesn't really play a big role in the storyline of Palpatine. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below of what you would like to see in the next video. Also, don't forget to hit the post notification bell that is right next to the subscribe button. Anyway, guys, if you want to see a different video or another video like this one, don't forget to leave the comment down below, as I said before. And also, guys, I will see you in the next video, and the High Council will decide your fate then. Goodbye, and may the Force be with you always.